thoughts and comments, and a big thanks to all the feedback we've received. The big topic, of course, petrol prices. How is this impacting you? Let us know your stories. 8168 is the number to text. Start your message with the first word comments. Some of the feedback we've received is that, concern that prices seem to be rising very quickly in some areas. Yes, we know what's happening in Iran, the Straits of Hormuz, that is impacting the global price of petrol. But are petrol stations in New Zealand moving a little bit too fast to push up the prices? Joining us on the program now, Commissioner Bryan Chapple. Bryan, kia ora, thanks for your time today.
Kia ora, Andrew. It's nice to be with you.
Firstly, thank you for the work that you and the team do, holding people to account in this space. What do we know about petrol prices, how quickly that they have gone up? Is this fair, or is there perhaps some price gouging here?
So the first thing probably to say straight off the bat is that we've seen no signs of price gouging.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just go back and tell you a little bit about what we understand and how we think about it.
Yep.
So the fuel companies tell us that they price their fuel that they're selling based on what it's going to cost them to replace it.
Yep.
So it's not that they buy it some time ago and then when that arrives here, it's priced at that price. And that's not unusual in many markets. Produce and commodities often work like that. So then that means that because prices are going up internationally, and there's two factors there, not only the crude oil prices because of the disruptions in the Strait, but also the cost to refine has gone up as well, and by even more often. So both of those factors play a part. And then the third thing that makes it difficult to translate those prices through to New Zealand ones is that our exchange rate has fallen a bit.
Yep.
So these are prices often in US dollars. They come through in obviously to New Zealand dollars. So those factors are all playing a part. So prices are going up. So we're looking at how they're going up and monitoring that. And then what we will be doing is monitoring them on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
The way we will know that it's fair is that when prices fall, they fall at about the same rate and pace as what we're seeing when they go up.
Thank you for the explanation of that, because I think a lot of people get stuck on it. You know, the government's saying, we've got 57 days of fuel supplies. And that petrol would have been bought at cheaper prices before the Iranian war began.
Correct.
But
Correct.
Actually, we're talking about replacement costs in this regard. What is difficult, though, is nobody knows how long the war will continue. And there is, to a certain extent, a speculative market as to what the price might be in the future. We're not necessarily working with clear facts and information.
No, so one of the things we're doing is publishing weekly information. We'll have another drop of that information again later today, and we're publishing information on the cost of crude oil, and then the refined cost, and then the average costs that we're seeing in New Zealand for 91, 95 and diesel. So that gives people a chance to just look at those patterns and understand for themselves what's happening.
We do have a reasonably competitive fuel market in New Zealand. Would you say that's the case?
I think it's much more competitive than it was a few years ago. The entry of unstaffed sites has made quite a big difference to prices. We've done some econometric work, which is sort of maths for economists.
Yep.
And we've seen that they have an effect of around 6 cents a litre when they open. And not only do those stations charge lower prices themselves, but there's a bit of a ripple effect. The stations around them are sort of forced to compete with that, so that also lowers prices. And we know that the independents, who are often the ones opening these unstaffed sites, now find it easier to access fuel from the importers. And so that's made a difference to them being able to expand. So yes, I think the market is more competitive now. We're still keeping an eye on it. But and we all have a role to support that, right? If we shop around ourselves, that's what helps drive that competition.
Yeah.
And so, I always encourage people to do what I do, which is keep an eye on the boards when you're driving around doing whatever it is you do, and use price monitoring apps as well. And so think about where you buy, because the more we all do that, the more likely it is that prices will be as low as they can be. We can't stop the impact of the higher costs coming through, but we can make sure that prices are no higher than they need to be. And the best way of doing that is for all of us as consumers to play our part.
With the response to the public, because I mean this is such an essential part of our economy, and not just for consumers at the pump, but all of the goods and services that need to be transported around. This is certainly going to impact the economy more broadly. The initial response, though, quite a bit of panic buying, quite a bit of people turning up at the petrol station with jerry cans. In terms of supply and demand, this possibly isn't helping, Bryan.
Yes, look, I understand people will, it's uncertainty, right? So
Yep.
people feel nervous about that. But I think ministers have been very clear. They're putting out regular information about the fact we've got plenty of supply. They expect us to continue to be able to get supply. So I'm certainly not filling up extra cans. I'm not filling up my car any more than I normally would. I think I see no need for that. And also sometimes prices can fall as well as go up.
Yeah.
So I've certainly seen on some days when I've been traveling past fuel stations that the price is a few cents lower than it was the previous evening when I was going home from work. So, it's not necessarily sensible to buy ahead of time
Exactly.
in a volatile market.
Something particularly for the larger petrol retailers, loyalty cards and so many cents per litre off at the pump. I mean, we've almost got used to this as a nation in the way this works. Is that, from a Commerce Commission point of view, though, is this fair to say, hey, these people get a different rate than these people?
Ultimately, that's a decision for the companies involved to do, and people as to whether they want to make use of those, which often involves sharing some data with the companies. And so people will make their own choices about that. I think where we do get concerned is when it leads to confusion about what the price is and whether the discounted price is available to everyone or not. So sometimes those discount schemes, depending on how they've done, create uncertainty for people about when the best time to purchase is, what the best price is. That's part of the purpose, sometimes from a company's perspective.
Yep.
So that's where we just encourage people to, make sure they're paying attention to that and not just to go to the same place out of loyalty, because it won't always be the best deal.
And this is also a lever that the companies can control. They can reduce the percentage of discount depending on what's happening in the market. Well, of course, neither you or I can speculate how long this particular piece of string is, but we appreciate the work that you do, keeping us informed as consumers, keeping the petrol companies accountable for the price increases and making sure that the decrease happens at the same rate. Bryan, thanks for what you do. Thanks for joining us today.
A pleasure, Andrew. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.